Hello everyone, welcome back. So we as physiotherapy students have faced common difficulties while doing our postings in respiratory wards. हम सबके साथ ये हुआ है. We are being accompanying our seniors since second years in the respiratory wards. That is non-patient compliance. पेशेंट को ऐसा लगता है क्या है ब्रीदिंग एक्सरसाइज क्यों करना है. दे आर नेवर कंप्लायंट. ओके, सांस अंदर लेना है, पकड़ के रखना है, सांस छोड़ना है, इससे क्या फ़र्क पड़ता है, राइट. सो दे आस्क अस मेनी क्वेश्चंस लाइक क्यों कर रहे हैं, क्या कर रहे हैं, एंड व्हेन दे डू नॉट गेट proper answers, when they get unjustified answers, they are obviously not going to follow your instructions. And as juniors or as second year, third year students, we are not that confident telling patients about these kind of exercises, even in final year. So, unless and until we are clear with our basics about the techniques that we are teaching to the patient, जो हम उनको बता रहे हैं करने के लिए, क्यों बता रहे हैं, why we want them to do that. Okay, so we all have some rationale for using these techniques. Unless and until our concepts are clear, we won't be able to tell patients why they have to do that, and thus we should be clear about our own concepts. So today we are going to learn about the theoretical rationales for secretion clearance interventions, right? So क्या पढ़ेंगे आज कि whatever secretion removal techniques or airway clearance techniques that we are teaching the patients, how does it work and how it will help us in removal of the secretions. Patient को deep में जाके नहीं बताना है, but you can always give them a gist that what is happening in their own physiological system, which will help them to remove their own secretions without the help of machines. Yeah. So what are airway clearance techniques? Airway clearance techniques are focused interventions which are used to facilitate the mucociliary clearance mechanism for the removal of secretions, facilitating the optimal lung recruitment and thus improving the gaseous exchange in our lungs. Okay, so it includes a variety and range of interventions. Okay, it can be direct interventions, then there are indirect interventions, there are adjunctive interventions, and which all of these when compiled together for the treatment will help in facilitating the airway clearance. So examples are like inhalation therapy, exercise therapy, O2 therapy. These are adjuncts which are used with your postural drainage, ACBT techniques, autogenic drainage, etc. Okay, so today we are not going to talk about the interventions, but the rationale for using these interventions, right? So there are three main physiological mechanisms that justify these physiotherapy ACTs for secretion removal. First is increase in the expiratory flow, oscillation of the airflow, and increase in the lung volumes. Okay, so we'll see one by one how does this help in removal of secretions. Increase in the expiratory flow. The physiological effect of this is explained by a two-phase gas liquid flow mechanism. Okay, so what does it say? There is an interaction between two phases, that is gaseous and liquid, where gas is the air in your airway and liquid is the secretions that are present inside your airway. So as you can see here, there are many different flow mechanisms like bubbly flow, slug flow, churn flow, annular flow, mist flow. However, in our body, we are usually whenever we are giving the physiotherapy intervention, we usually work with annular and mist flow. So we'll see. You can see here annular flow, basically the entire liquid part, that is the mucus secretion and the gas has been marked here, and this is the mist flow. We'll see what happens. Annular flow basically, here in annular flow, as the expiratory volume goes up, like when you are expiring, the expiratory volume and the pressure the fast you expire, there is a shear force that is created on this mucus lining. This shear force will create a wave-like pattern. This wave-like pattern will enable your mucus to move from your peripheral bronchial regions to your central pathways. It will move your secretions more centrally. What happens in mist is there is extreme forceful expiration, which will create a sudden shear force on the mucus that is attached to your bronchial epithelium and create a small liquid filled bubbles in the airway, which is mist, which helps in faster movement or faster secretion of the mucus through the airway. So what happens here is, you can see here, inspiration, the air is going in, while expiration there is sudden collapse of the airways. We know that the pressure decreases, the air flows towards your oropharynx. It will push or create a shear force on the mucus, leading to its movement, okay, thus expelling the mucus in mist-like form. So basically what happens here, we saw in annular and mist flow, is creating a force with expiratory flow on the mucus that is attached to your bronchial epithelium and enabling it to move faster towards the oropharynx. There is one such mechanism, that is cough, which is a natural physiology of the body. Cough is the only mechanism that is able to produce extreme amount of expiratory flow, which enables the mucus to form into a mist and come out to the more central airways and leading towards the oropharynx. Others like huffing techniques or oscillatory PEP machines, they use annular flow mechanism, okay. So obviously for this mechanism to be more effective, there should be a critical volume of secretions in the airways, and there should be an threshold amount of expiratory bias to the airflow. As in, if the patient, like the patients who are dyspneic along with accumulation of secretions, like we see in COPD cases, what they do is they inspire more than they expire, right? They shallow breathe. The ratio of inspiration and expiration becomes almost similar, although we need to ensure that the amount of, or the force by which they are inspiring, the rate by which they are inspiring, should be less than that with which they are expiring. So we teach them huff or cough methods, yes. So we know that the expiratory bias is achieved when the peak expiratory flow rate during any clearance technique that we use is at least 10% greater or faster than the peak inspiratory flow rate, okay. Now what I mean to say is PEF is to PIF should be greater than 1:1, right? So what are the interventions that we use in ACTs to enable this? Is cough, huff, chest wall vibrations, which we use as an adjunct to your PD, postural drainage, and oscillatory PEP devices will help you to get this physiological effect. The second effect we saw is oscillating air flow. The effect of the oscillating air flow on the secretion clearance physiotherapy techniques is facilitated by the three of its physiological effects. That is, it will help in increase in the expiratory flow rate. We already saw that with increase in expiratory flow rate, how it will help in mucus secretion removal, right? The second, what it does is it creates a mechanical stimulation for your ciliated epithelium. Thus, it stimulates the cilial beat, right? So, due to excessive accumulation of mucus, our cilial beat may be impaired sometimes. The cilial beat, once it is impaired, it is not able to move the mucus as efficiently, and thus by creating an oscillating air flow in the airways, thus by creating mechanical stimulation to the ciliated epithelium will improve your cilial beat. Once you are giving continuous oscillations to the airways, what happens is the consistency of the mucus in the airways will change. The rheology, the cellular structure, which is compact, it will loosen up. Once it is loosened up, you can use other expiratory techniques, other increasing the expiratory flow rate to mobilize the secretions when it is loosened up and thus remove it, right? So it also improves the mucociliary clearance, right? The oscillations in the airflow, how are they achieved? They are achieved and created by two simple techniques. You can either give intermittent positive pressure on the chest wall, मतलब बाहर से दे सकते हो तुम लोग, that is via percussion or vibrations, which we use as an adjunct to your PD, postural drainage, and by applying intermittent resistance to the airflow at mouth, example via oscillatory PEP devices, right? The range of oscillatory frequency shown to be effective is 3 to 17 Hertz. This is your oscillatory beat frequency, right? Cilial beat frequency, with optimal clearance at 13 Hertz. That is 3 to 17 Hertz. Now you know when you are giving percussions, at what speed you need to give percussions to mobilize your secretions, to alter the rheology of your secretions. The third physiological mechanism is increasing the lung volumes, right? How does it help? It has two potential mechanisms. Increase in total lung volumes. What will it help? It will increase your positive back pressure, right? Why is it important to create a positive back pressure, which is created when you give the patient pursed lip breathing, right? When you are expiring, जब भी सारा हवा बाहर निकल रहा है, कुछ तो अंदर प्रेशर रहना चाहिए, वरना all your alveoli or your peripheral airways will collapse, right? Which is known as floppy airways or narrowed airways. We do not want that. So once you increase the lung volumes, what happens is the positive back pressure will prevent the narrowing and collapsing of the floppy airway. Thus they'll dilate the floppy and narrowed airways, maintain the airway patency, and improve collateral ventilation. Now what is collateral ventilation and how is it improved? At the lower generations of your bronchi and bronchioles, your alveoli and bronchioles and your interalveolar have some connections, right? They have canals of Lambert, where one alveoli is connected to the bronchiole of the other alveoli, or where two alveoli are connected with each other, that is pores of Kohn, or there are connections between the bronchioles too, known as connections of Lambert. Connections of Martin, right? Lambert is alveolar bronchiole, interbronchiole is Martin, and interalveolar is pores of Kohn. Okay, so what happens is, for example, you see in this and this alveoli are plugged with mucus. So the air, when entering from this side, cannot go beyond this mucus. Same way here, it has a very narrow airway. What can happen is during expiration, this airway can get collapsed. So what we do here is, when we inspire to high lung volumes and hold the breath for 2 to 3 seconds, the air will distribute. Once the air has reached here, it will go to this alveoli through canal of Lambert. It will go to this alveoli through pores of Kohn. So what happens is the air is now equally distributed to all the alveoli. It will go behind the mucus, behind this mucus plug, and while you are expirating, the air will move from beyond the mucus plug, pushing the mucus into the central airways. Thus air gets behind the obstructed small airways and push the secretion towards the more central airway, right? The other mechanism is by increasing the functional residual capacity to greater than the closing capacity of the peripheral airways. So what happens is same thing. It will keep the non-ventilated air spaces open, enabling a more equally distributed airflow, improving the expiratory flow, right? Thus it will improve the expiratory flow, and which will again lead to improved mucociliary clearance. Which are the techniques which you can use is proper positioning. As we say, we keep bad lung up, then you can give proper breathing exercises. You can use ACBT cycles, you can use CPAP, continuous positive airway pressure machines, for improving the airway clearance, right? So these are the basic physiological rationales that are used during our physiological secretion clearance techniques. So you guys now have an idea about how we use our breathing techniques to remove secretions. You can give a gist to your patient and ensure that you have more patient compliance, because सांस के व्यायाम से क्या होता है, you can tell them सांस के व्यायाम करने से ये होता है, right? Thank you very much. Stay tuned for other videos.